Before we begin, please take a moment to subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much. I'm not sure if I'm sharing this story for understanding, closure, or just to finally say it out loud. Maybe it's all of those things. My name is Lena, and I was 34 when it all unraveled. I had been married to Noah for nearly a decade. We lived in Briarfield, a tight-knit town where news travels faster than cars on Main Street. From the outside, my life looked predictable. A nice home, steady, work, a dependable husband. But on the inside, it felt hollow. Noah wasn't cruel or careless. In fact, he was always there, present, but never really with me. Our conversations had become routines. How was your day? What's for dinner? Did you pay the water bill? It was like coexisting with a colleague in a shared apartment, familiar but void of spark. To fill the silence in my life, I took a part-time job at a quaint little bookstore on Maple Avenue. It wasn't about the money. I just needed something that was mine. That's where I started seeing Caleb more regularly. He was Noah's old friend. They'd known each other since high school and still caught up now and then. Caleb was nothing like my husband. He was warm, observant, and had a calm energy that made the room feel lighter. The first time he walked in looking for a book on vintage motorcycles, we talked briefly, mostly about the book. But then he asked, "How are you?" Not the way people ask out of politeness, but as if he truly wanted to know. That small question lingered in my mind the whole day. Soon Caleb became a regular, always with a reason. A book to buy, a coffee in hand, a small question about recommendations. Little by little, our exchanges grew longer, deeper. They weren't confessions, just connection. And for the first time in a long time, I felt seen. I never mentioned Caleb's visits to Noah. Not because I was keeping secrets, but because I knew he'd raise an eyebrow. Or worse, not care. Maybe that's when I realized how lonely I had become. One stormy Thursday, Caleb walked in soaked to the bone, clutching a wrapped book under his jacket. I laughed and said he looked like a drenched cat. He smiled, came for the book, and the company. That's when I felt it. The pull. It wasn't physical, not yet. But it was real. I tried to tell myself it was innocent, that I was just grateful to feel alive again. But deep down, I knew I was already treading dangerous ground. Back at home, things with Noah got colder. He buried himself in work and screens. When I asked about taking a weekend trip together, he just said, "We'll plan something." But we never did. I began journaling again, something I hadn't done in years. At first, it was just my thoughts. But then Caleb's name started appearing on the pages more and more. One night, I mentioned to Caleb that I used to paint before I got married. He looked surprised and asked, "Why did you stop?" I didn't have a good answer. That simple question clung to me like fog. That night, I dug out an old box of paints and started sketching at the kitchen table. It felt like remembering someone I used to be. The next time I saw Caleb, I told him I had started drawing again. He smiled and said, "That's beautiful. Don't lose the things that make you feel alive." And that word, alive, shook me, because I hadn't felt alive in so long. One Friday, Caleb came in when the shop was quiet. He handed me a leather-bound notebook. "For your sketches," he said. "A clean start." I should have refused. I didn't. Our hands brushed, just a second. But it felt like fire. That weekend, Noah and I barely spoke. He fell asleep on the couch while I sat beside him sketching quietly, Caleb's notebook in my lap like a hidden chapter. A few days later, Caleb showed up early and asked, "Can we talk?" We sat in the break room, just a small table between us. "I think about you more than I should," he confessed. "And I know it's wrong. Noah's my friend, but I can't pretend." My heart pounded. I didn't stop him. I didn't stop myself. Nothing happened, not physically. But something inside did. That moment blurred the line I'd been pretending didn't exist. After that, every hello felt loaded. Every visit felt like a secret. At home, I drifted further from Noah. I drew Caleb's face in my notebook without realizing it. Then, I'd tear the page out in guilt, only to draw it again the next night. One afternoon, the store closed early for maintenance. Caleb helped me move boxes. Rain tapped the windows. Dust hung in the air. Our hands met. We didn't move. "This is wrong," I whispered. "I know," he said. We finished in silence, but we both knew it had gone too far. That night, I stared at Noah on the couch. He didn't ask about my day, didn't look at me, and I felt hollow. Where had we gone wrong? Days passed. No Caleb. The absence gnawed at me. Then late Sunday night, my phone buzzed. A message. "Are you okay?" I stared at it for a long time. I replied, "I don't know." He asked, "Do you want to talk?" I said, "Yes." We met behind the shop, sitting in his car, windows fogged, hearts heavy. We didn't kiss, we didn't make promises, but something real passed between us. After that, we met, in secret, always careful, always quiet. We told ourselves it was just talking, but it wasn't. Not really. Caleb made me laugh, reflect, remember who I used to be. And slowly the guilt gave way to something even more dangerous. Hope. Then, Noah surprised me. He came home with flowers. White tulips, my favorite. "I thought we could go to that lake you love," he said. "Just us." "I miss you, Lena," he added, and it broke me. That night, I paced the hallway. I had built a secret world without ever thinking what would happen if it collided with the truth. The next day, I met Caleb and told him we had to stop. That Noah was trying. That maybe I should try too. He nodded. "Just be honest with yourself. Don't stay because it's easier than leaving." For a while I tried. I smiled more. We walked together, watched movies, but it felt like play acting. The distance was still there, buried but solid. One night, I opened the notebook Caleb gave me, but instead of sketches, I wrote everything. My thoughts, my guilt, my confusion, my confession. Then I left it on the kitchen table. "Noah," I said softly, "please read this." He did. Slowly. Quietly. When I came back inside, he was still there, head in his hands. "I wish you had told me sooner," he said. "I know. I've been gone too. Not physically. But I haven't really been here." We sat in silence, the first real silence we had shared in years. "I don't want to lose you," he finally whispered. "Then we rebuild," I said. "Not from what we had. From the truth." We started therapy. For the first time, we told the truth about what we felt, what we feared, what we had neglected. I told Caleb goodbye. Not because I didn't care, but because I had to try. Fully. "You deserve peace, Lena," he said. "I hope you find it." And I cried, because that was our end. Noah and I still have hard days. We stumble, but we also laugh again. We hold hands without force. We speak without fear. Sometimes he asks, "Do you think of him?" Sometimes I answer honestly, "Do you still love him?" I think I loved who I was with him, but it wasn't built to last. You and I, we forgot how to live in our love, but we're learning. Now I wake up beside Noah not out of duty, but choice. This isn't a fairy tale. It's messier than that, but it's real, and it changed everything.